What's up, guys? My name's Nate. Welcome to the Nate Show. I've got my good friend Grant here with me today. This guy is like a whole world full of knowledge and wisdom wrapped up in that head. I swear, whenever I bring up something, man, he will come from a completely left side of the field that I'm not even expecting and make me like completely rethink everything I just told him. But anyways, not enough about me. What's going on, Grant? How are you?
Not much. I'm doing all right.
Good, man.
And
Good.
doing
So I usually just start the show off, man. We talk a little bit about, we start off usually at your childhood,
okay.
and then we just kind of go on to where you're at now. So
Okay.
we want to talk about Grant back in 1972.
Actually, I was born in 1968.
68. So
Yeah.
I was close.
Yeah.
72. I said six. So you
Yeah.
were four then. Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead, man.
All right. Well, name's Grant, and I'm from Fairborn. I was born in 1968. I'm one of seven kids, number 5 of 7. My biological dad left when I was about 2 weeks old, and my mom remarried a Vietnam vet about a year later. And so I grew up in an alcoholic home, and my house was pretty much dysfunctional by the very definition, that everybody had their roles and stuff like that. One of the things also, I was born with club feet. So the tops of my toes were on the side of my ankles on both feet.
Oh, shit.
So yeah. And so I had lots of surgeries as a kid. I wore forced leg braces until I was in 5th grade. And so most of my childhood, I felt like a broken toy.
Okay, I got you. So was it kind of like a lot of routines, strict, and on top of that, he was alcoholic. So was there a little bit of abuse there too? On top of everything?
Yeah. Well, his dad was an old farmer, so they believed that spare the rod, spoil the child. So
yeah,
and there was a lot of
yeah,
extension cords, ping pong paddles, belts, backhands.
I'm familiar.
Yeah,
I'm real familiar.
Yeah, and just the money struggles, because we delivered paycheck to paycheck, and so it was. But everybody on my street was kind of that way.
Yeah,
I grew up on about a block away from where Baker High School used to be.
Okay.
And so everybody was either worked a machine shop, construction, or something like that. So it was not uncommon to go out my front door and see as many beer cans at the neighbor's house as there was mine.
For sure. Absolutely. It's kind of weird. It's like you're just talking about my childhood. Other than my stepdad wasn't a vet or anything like that, but he was 6'4". He was about 260 pounds. The hands the size of baseball mittens, and it would seem like they would experiment on how to punish us. They would make us hold out books. That they would have the paddles with the holes in them. They would make us pick the switches. So
to pick the switch.
Yeah.
Ours was, stand in the corner until I decide what punishment I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it for like 45 minutes.
Yep. I went through the same thing. They would also stand us in the corner when they were sleeping in the morning because they just didn't want to be bothered. So they say, go stand in the corner, and it might be an hour, might be 2 hours, you never know. So yeah, I'm very familiar. And I actually even had surgeries when I was young too. When I was about 10 years old, I was in the hospital for a couple months due to a tumor in my stomach. So it's like my whole entire childhood, you just went ahead and spoke about it. So,
but yeah, I can remember being like after one of my surgeries when I was about 8. I can remember going through withdrawal from the pain medicine.
Yeah,
that was the first time I really recognized the pain med thing and how much I like that.
Yep. I remember being in the hospital, and it was like I would watch the clock at like 10 years old, waiting for that 4th hour to get there so I can get my next pain medicine.
Yeah, very familiar.
Wild, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like kind of like that's what started us on our journey, and then like later on in life, when I tried Percocets again, I'm like, oh, this is familiar.
Yeah.
Mine
was Quaaludes, and eventually Dilaudid's on down the line.
Right. So how did they end up going about fixing your feet? How long of a process was that?
Let's see. The leg braces, I had 4 surgeries by the time I was 4. I had another because on my feet was missing the little bones that you like your wrist and stuff used to roll.
Okay.
So they took sections out of my mid leg and they made bones for both sides, and that was at 8. So I spent the summer of 76 and cast this long in a wheelchair, and then back to the leg braces, and then at my final surgery was at 16, and that's when they redid this ankle because it was not going very well.
Yeah, so it was just a whole childhood of
yeah,
pain
yeah,
meds.
yeah. It was 6 surgeries. I didn't get my first pair of tennis shoes until the end part of my 5th grade, which
Really?
which made school even worse than what it already was.
Was there a lot of bullying too on top of everything?
Yeah, but I ended up getting really mean when I was
I'm sure.
in
Yeah.
kindergarten. I came home
Yeah.
and I was crying, and they told me that if I come home crying, they'd give me something to cry about, and I need to take care of it.
Yep.
So if I couldn't catch you at the playground, I caught you in the classroom. And that led to a lot of paddlings and getting to know the principal. And I had the dossier from one teacher. Oh shit, here comes Grant, the next teacher.
Wow. Yeah. I'm so familiar with it. It's so crazy. I went through the same exact thing. I mean, my stepdad would make us do push-ups and like the handstands on the wall just to build us up because he didn't want us to get bullied, you know.
Yeah,
so
well,
went through the same stuff.
4th, 5th grade, pretty much everybody was pretty much afraid of me at East Elementary School. Because
you start punching people in the nose, they stop messing with you.
Or grab them by their collar and headbutt them in the face.
Oh yeah, that'll do it real quick.
Yeah.
That'll do it real quick. So wow.
And it didn't matter, boy or girl. I just didn't give a shit, really.
I understand. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, you're so mentally messed up from all those surgeries and all the trauma that you're going through, and then on top of that, people start bullying you. You know, you're so angry. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was in probably my early teens, when the first time I ever talked to a drug counselor, he had told me to close my eyes and asked me how I felt, and I told him enraged and utterly alone.
Wow.
He goes, "How long's that been going on?" I said, "My entire life."
Yeah.
So that's how I walked around, pretty empty, pretty angry.
I understand. That seems like an extremely rough childhood, especially back in the 70s, because like technology isn't what it is now. So your surgeries were like, you know, you heal so much faster now, and it's so less grueling because they have to do the incisions. You know, the incisions are a lot smaller, and they got robotics and stuff. Like back then, the healing process was
I got big scars on the side of my leg. Scars on the,
it's insane. So I couldn't even imagine the pain and torture that you went through. So is there anything else you want to speak on about your home life, or
well, the guy who I wanted to be when I grew up was my brother Scott.
Okay.
My older brother Scott.
Good.
He was 5.5 years older than me. You know, obviously things like skating and stuff like that was pretty tough to do. And he always won the races at Skyborn Skateland, and he was great with the girls, and he was funny, and he had everything I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was a million miles away from being that. But he introduced me to the music I like, how to talk to girls, you know, and actually I was around his friends, I got treated better than around the people my own age. So I liked hanging around the older people because of that. They're like, "Hey man, you're Scott's brother, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." Which, on down the line, made it easier to get weed and other things.
Yeah. Well, they were a little bit more mature, you know, and they were friends with him, and you know, they were past that bullying stage and being a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like most kids get it.
The 3rd grader could sit down and talk to you about Led Zeppelin 2, the album. They always thought that was pretty fascinating. Most kids were like, Disney musicals or something, and
they're like, nah, Led Zeppelin, dude, let's rock on. Absolutely awesome. So, what were your teenage years like then?
Okay, actually, I probably should start how things changed from that point on. One of the things about my household is that my mom thought the church would help us. So she took us to Full Combat Church, which was a Pentecostal Church of God.
Ooh.
Yes, where they spoke in tongues, and downstairs they tried to train me with, if you memorize this verse, we'll give you a piece of candy. And I would tell them that I'm not a dog and I'm not going to do it. So
stick it to the man.
Yes. If I decide to do it, it's okay. So, and one night when my mom was looking for my stepdad, and whatever VFW he disappeared to. My brother Scott and I were watching The Getaway with Steve McQueen.
Oh, okay.
I was 10 years old,
Yeah.
and
Great Mustang.
yeah, and he's like, "You want to go get high?" And I was like,
Yep.
"Absolutely."
Thought you'd never ask.
And I really didn't even know what he meant truly by it. So we went out in the backyard and I smoked my first joint. And that's what changed my teenage years more than anything.
Absolutely.
When I was in third grade, I went down with my mom and my stepdad Charles. We would go over to her cousin's house, Bob, and they would play like canasta, which I have no idea how you play that, but I know it takes at least 15 packs of Strohs to get through it.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're downstairs, tearing stuff up, my cousin Tommy, and there's a bottle of scotch down there. And I remember taking a drink and I was like, oh, this stuff is terrible. This is not for me. I was like, I have no idea what you got. But when I smoked my first joint, I remember I'm going to do this as much as I can, as often as I can.
Felt like it fixed that hole.
Oh, yeah. It closed and it was, I don't know what the question was, but it was the answer.
Yeah. I get it, man. I had a very similar experience. I started smoking, I was like 11 or 12, and it was right around 9/11. I remember that for sure. And I remember waiting on the weed man to show up to my house just like I would later on in my life. Waiting on the heroin guy to get to my house. Like I fiend for it just as much, man. So like it doesn't matter what substance it is for me.
Yeah.
I'm chasing it 100%.
So
100%.
Yes, at this point in time, it's like 1978-ish or so. And my school was like right here. That was East Elementary. And across the playground was the high school out by the gym. And the smoke hall was where people would line up along the back over by the stadium and they would smoke cigarettes. So I would just walk across the field and say, hey, I'm Scott's brother. Can I get like $5?
Yeah.
And they would pull off their cellophane, open up their bag, and they would stuff the cellophane full. They would laugh. Here you go. I'll give them the $5. And there I had like 8 or 10 joints.
Yeah. It's a lot
so there was no waiting around for it. It was always, for me, it was always finding the right connection. I think that was my drug thing, is always finding the right connection.
Things are so much different then, man. So much different then. But so what were your teenage years? You're into your high school, smoking weed now?
Yes. One of the things that happened is in middle school, my gym teacher came up to me. He's like, you want to teach how to fight in school without getting suspended? And I was like, do tell.
Please.
And he goes, you ever thought about wrestling? And I was like, my older brother wrestled, but I didn't really pay too much attention because at that time I was already into the life of using. And he goes, well, just come out to practice and we'll see how it goes. And I liked the workout. I liked getting on the mat. I did pretty good right away.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting my name in the paper in a good way a few times. And I went from the outcast table to the table.
That's awesome.
And the girls would write me little notes. Yes or no. And I'd have like 4 yeses and a couple of maybes, right?
That's positive.
Yeah. So I looked at this as like a whole new start, and I became a whole new me. And I looked for the people who liked to party like me. They liked wrestling. And by 8th grade, if you asked me what I wanted to be a state champion wrestler.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And, but I was doing speed to keep weight, and I began to do other drugs, LSD and stuff like that at that time.
So it kind of progressed a little quickly after that. Yeah.
And so by my 9th grade year, I stopped wrestling.
Really?
Because you can't run 6 miles in any direction tripping on acid. And it just became more and more important to me.
The drugs,
and I had a hard time. And this time I was having a hard time holding on to girlfriends.
Same. Absolutely the same. The drugs were the most important thing to me from 9th grade on, for sure.
Yeah.
Probably even before that.
So, well, some of them had trouble with me, like, where were you last weekend? And my answer was, I don't really remember.
Yeah. Because you really didn't.
Because I really didn't.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're lying to me. What's her name? I'm like, you you met me. We've been out. You know what I do.
Yeah.
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was unfaithful, and sometimes I wasn't. But
Mhm.
for the most part, the lifestyle always became more important than they did.
Right. So how were you mentally around your high school years?
I get stoned in the morning, get drunk in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Just my answer was to get my driver's license and get free.
So you weren't really, you were just high the whole time. You weren't really
Pretty
super
much.
depressed, or there weren't any suicidal thoughts or anything like that.
I guess the hope of getting high
Yeah.
one more time.
Kept you going.
Yeah,
Kept you moving in the right direction.
and this is what made it really tough on down the line, especially the first couple years of high school. I had so much fun, and I met so many people, and I went to so many different places. And my brother was a bartender, or he was a bar manager, a bar in Fairborn called Studley's.
Okay.
So, I could go in there. When I lost my first job at McDonald's for putting my beer in their cooler. Yeah, that was against their policy.
Yeah.
So, but that was where the first little consequences started coming in. But then I got a job as a busboy at the old Holiday Inn, and it was cash every day, a check every 2 weeks. And time got off, I could go hang out at the bar, even though I wasn't even close to age, but everybody worked there. So I felt grown. I mean, I felt that this was what I was going to do in life.
Yeah. I was always chasing that grown up feeling too.
Yeah.
Man. Just trying to get out and be on my own and do my own thing.
Yeah. I usually escaped when I wasn't high by listening to music, and I miss being high if I wasn't high.
For sure. Absolutely.
I didn't like being in my own skin, so to speak,
Right.
at that time.
So what happened? You graduate high school. What's life like?
Okay. Mid-year through my junior year, I really lost all control. This is when I really became a chemical trash can, as I had, infamously to introduce myself as.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
If it was in the room, I would pretty much do it, except for the IV drug use. I met a few people who had done that, and I didn't want all the sores all over me. And being on the ground drooling was not my idea of a good time. So that was the one thing I kind of stayed away from. But now 8-10 people is about all I really ran with. And I begin to disappear a lot. At this time, my older brother Scott was just when I was 15, he went to prison for selling cocaine.
Oh shit. Okay.
And he did 2.5 years at the old Mansfield. And when he came out sober. He came out with the 12 steps.
Oh shit.
And I already been to one meeting when I was 16. And but when he came out, my mom joined Al-Anon. My senior year, my stepdad went to Good Sam and dried out, and he went to a spin dry.
Oh shit.
And all this recovery community came to the war zone, and the only people really left in the house was my 2 younger brothers.
Okay.
So, and myself whenever they could find me.
Yeah.
But I was
You're the outcast now.
We all kind of took our turns. Yeah, my younger brother Chuck was always getting arrested and stuff. So we took turns on who was the worst child, I guess. And but they began to get their intervention look in their eye at me quite a bit. Especially, I literally started disappearing for a couple weeks at a time and not even coming home.
How old were you when you started doing that?
17.
Okay. Yeah.
17, 18.
Yep.
And I graduated at 19 because I got held back in first grade for having a bad attitude, which was usually punching people in classrooms.
Yeah.
And and towards the end of high school, I really felt like I was probably not going to live much longer.
Me too. I didn't think I was going to live past my 20s.
If
lifestyle I was living. Yeah. I had the same thoughts. Yeah, I figured, drug overdose, getting shot, something. I figured I wouldn't last long.
I start losing the people that was kind of close to my circle. They start hitting trees and cars and overdosing, or one of the guys, he actually got killed in Springfield. Somebody hit him in the head with a hammer on Main Street.
Shit.
So
It's a lot of trauma.
Yeah, I mean, but that was just part almost like the normal lifestyle. Then by the time I got out of school, I kind of just adopted to more of the street. I started hanging out more in Dayton and
Mhm.
less in Fairborn.
Yeah.
Then only time I really came to Springfield was usually to go visit Snyder Park or Stan's Oyster Bar.
Yeah.
Because they had like 32 different kinds of beer on tap.
Yeah, but I mean, you say it's normal life, but really it's not. It's abnormal, but we just grew up that way,
Yeah.
so it feels normal to us.
Yeah. So I'd had some minor run-ins with the cops, but nothing until after I got out of school, and then I got to know them all by name pretty well.
Yeah, I got you. So we're getting out of high school. You start hitting some consequences.
Well, like I said, I'm losing jobs, losing girlfriends, losing friends. But the first immediate consequence I would say is that we were all supposed to meet when I was 19. Was all supposed to meet for my mom's birthday, and I ended up picking up early in the day and missed the whole thing, and ended up getting my first DUI.
Oh shit. Okay,
my
so that's
mom's
your
birthday.
first run in with the law on your mom's birthday.
Yeah, well, that's the first time I really got arrested with consequences. Before it was just like, hey, you need to settle it down, or we get busted at a house party. And since I made the cutoff where you could drink legally at 19, I never got busted for underage drinking, but the other people in the room did, and they're like, "Did you get this for him?" No.
Absolutely not.
Yes, you did. I'd prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
and that was with the cop thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I had to go do a weekend intervention at Wright State, and then the family was really hounding me to, hey, don't you see where your life is going?
Right. So did you do anything to correct your life at that point then?
Yeah, stay away from them.
Stay away from them. They're bad influences.
No. Shortly after that, I got out of there. Matter of fact, the Sunday night after I did the weekend intervention, I smoked pot with my buddy Billy.
For sure.
And by Tuesday, you would have never known that anything ever happened.
Yeah.
And my mom came up to me sometime that week, and she goes, "We're not going to participate in your suicide. You need to get your stuff and get out of our house."
Yeah. Fair enough.
And then I was like, "Okay, if you don't want me, I don't want you."
Yeah. So where'd you go to live?
Well, I couch surfed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in a house on Green Street, which was kind of like a frat house and that's where I really got to know a lot of the cops. It was some pretty wild parties, and it was the summer of '88, and it was off and running. And then I met a lot of people who helped me live a life without a job.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
You learn how to. Yeah.
And because I lost my job at a car dealership as a lot tech, that was really short lived, and I was like in 3 different departments because nobody really wanted me.
Yeah.
But they didn't have grounds to fire me.
Yeah.
So
fuck up bad enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and after that, I stayed with my sister for a while, and then let's see. And during that point in time, I went to my first treatment.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, my sister got pretty pissed because I was taking the money out of my 8-year-old niece's bank.
That's frowned upon.
Yes,
it's really frowned upon.
To
be stealing from your niece's piggy bank.
And I would tell myself in the morning, I'm like, I'll pay this back by the end of the day. But
course.
They do not need to see me start going through DTs. They do not need to see me start going through withdrawal.
Isn't that the worst feeling? Like when you really mean in your mind that you're gonna pay back this money that you just stole from somebody that means a lot to you. Yeah. You truly mean it.
And that's the only place I had to stay. All my friends were like, no. Because I would have bill money in one pocket, party money in the next pocket, wake up with no pockets. That's just basically everything I got, I was using.
I went through the same phase with cocaine around the same age. Yeah, you just wake up the next day and it would all be gone.
Right. It was mostly downers, but I did a lot of cocaine to stay on 2 feet so I could do more other stuff.
Yeah, I graduated to the downers. After I had a very short spree of cocaine, but it grabbed a hold of me really bad. So
never really could do much of anything.
No, absolutely not. It was always balls to the wall for me. And I mean, your story is very, very similar to mine. So at what age were you when you went into this first treatment facility, and what were you on at the time?
Oh, okay. Actually, it was the chemical. I mean, They had wrote me had me write down a list of all the drugs I had done, and I think I had stopped at like 37. And I mean, I was doing a lot of drinking, a lot of pain pills,
Okay.
a lot of cocaine to stay up,
So
a
those
lot
are
of
your 3 main.
hallucinogenics. I
Okay.
did a lot of hallucinogenics. I love the combination of cocaine, LSD, and PCP,
Wow.
and go walk in the woods throughout the whole night.
Yeah. That sounds like a
And
party.
yeah, and you could come or I could be by myself. It really much didn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of PCP or hallucinogenics. I mean, we did some ecstasy a lot, but there wasn't like a whole lot of acid around. Definitely wasn't any PCP. So,
Right.
like, that sounds like a whole other state of tripping. And then there's
Oh,
a
there's
lot
no
of synthetic
ecstasy.
stuff too coming out.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so that was when I was 14. I was at Ronan Hills Park, and this girl come walking behind the church, and her pupils are like this big, and like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm eating acid."
yeah.
And I was like, "Ah, where'd you get it?" And
Yeah.
she points over to the guy and goes, "I was like, well, how much is it?"
Yeah.
He goes, "It's $5 a hit."
Yeah.
So I handed him a 20,
Oh my
and
God.
I threw all 4 things of window pane in my
No.
mouth. They go, "You probably shouldn't have done that."
No.
And I love the experience of it ever since. I mean,
Really?
that was like
You didn't have a bad trip from hitting 4
not
one at a
that one.
time? That's nuts. That's
And
wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I about 400 acid trips later, I saw everything but God. I
Yeah.
met the devil several times.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I like to use the other drugs. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes that would steer the emotion of the trip.
It freak you out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
What was the worst trip you ever had?
the devil was chasing me, and it
Yeah.
was snowing, and the cops were after me, and I could see the lights, and the devil was to one side, and it was snowing, and this was in June.
Yeah.
This was mid-June when this
Was
going
there
on.
ever any messages in there like you need to get your life together or anything like that?
I was like, man, if I finish this one out, man, I am never doing it again.
Yeah, had a lot of those.
Yeah,
a lot of
and probably only did it maybe 10 more times after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So tell me about your first treatment facility.
I went to Good Sam where my parents would, because I thought that would be get the heat off of them.
Yeah.
And
Christian based then?
no, it was a hospital base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a Good Samaritan hospitals were in.
Good Sam. Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
gotcha.
it was there, and I did 30 days clean. That was the first time I was 30 days in a row clean, probably since 10 years old.
Yeah. What year was that?
1987.
Okay. Now, did you have to do like a detox, or did they just take you in there and let you do your thing?
They
and-
just dropped you off, and if you started to get shakes, you go get Librium and Valium, and that was their med pass.
Gotcha. Did you go to like meetings and stuff like that back then? or what was the treatment
No,
like?
they brought people in, and the last week they would take you out, but the first 3 weeks we didn't go anywhere from what I recall.
I gotcha.
And
Yeah.
I almost instantly I was like, this was a mistake.
It's getting clean.
Being here,
Okay.
these people are out of their mind.
Yeah, I went to there's one in Dayton, and it's a hospital, and it felt like it was a mental asylum slash.
It must have been Turning Point.
It wasn't Turning
Okay.
Point. It was the I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I was only
Okay.
there for a couple days. But I felt like I immediately made a mistake too,
Yeah.
just because I felt like I didn't belong there, because it felt like a mental asylum, like
Yeah.
people were out of their minds there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I was just curious. Treatment facilities have progressed so much.
Yeah.
In the last 1980s, that's
Yeah.
40 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. So it's got to be a lot better now.
Well, I think it's for somebody like myself, it depends on where you're at in it. Like I went in there just to get the heat off.
Mm-hmm.
And since it was co-ed, I got the best of both worlds. I got the heat off for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a girlfriend out of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Recovery love.
Yeah, recovery love.
Yeah.
Her name was Lori.
Oh, Lori.
And yes. So
How'd that one turn out?
terrible. She ended up I ended up getting her pregnant,
Oh no.
and she ended up telling me she got an abortion because there was no way in the world she wanted me to have her baby, me to be the dad of her baby.
So she really went through and got a divorce.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah. So we didn't
Damn.
really talk after that.
I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that.
Well, that's how a lot of the things ended. Things usually ending always really bad and really
Yeah.
tragic. And
That's a horrible consequence.
and I didn't stay clean at hardly, hours after getting out of there.
For sure.
And
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but my using was never really the same so much to speak.
Mm-hmm.
There was, so
My first treatment facility, I was 26, and I'm sure you were there when I went there. But I had my ass kicked so much the first time I went into treatment. Like I was ready to stay clean the first time. So it was a little bit more of a different experience. I wasn't there to get the heat off of me. I didn't have anybody in my life at all. I was just worn out.
So I figured it'd be the only way to get back in my sister's house. If
Yeah.
I went and that way I'd have a place to stay.
Did she let you back in?
No.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
It doesn't even work.
It was worth a
So,
shot.
Yeah. So I ended up getting this apartment and that's when things really went awry. That's really what I started doing a lot of crazy stuff. I was doing a lot of stealing to stay hot. And
Tell us about it.
uh,
Boosting from stores, boosting from people.
people, stores,
Yeah.
cars, houses. Eventually, they taught me how to steal a car.
Yeah.
And
Were you hitting like drug dealers or just
no, just
breaking
people in
regular
general.
people's
Yeah.
houses? Yeah.
Yeah. And most of it was just stuff out of cars and small things, easy to fence, easy to sell.
Yeah, like radios and stuff
Yeah.
like that, car radios and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So did you end up getting caught doing the theft thing?
Yeah. I got caught for stealing a car. That was the big one. And
That's frowned upon.
yeah,
They don't like that.
Which they're when you're in jail, this is like when crack was really kind of gone, and they start drug court was a thing of, I guess, the trial to see how it would work. So they asked me if I was under the influence at the time of my crime. So I told them about half as much as what I drank and didn't include any drugs in that. And they told me I qualified for the outpatient.
Oh,
And they
okay.
wanted to take my felony and drop it to like a misdemeanor theft if I could complete this.
Okay.
And ironically, the guy who was my attorney was terrible, but one of the other public defenders stepped in and goes, I'll talk to the prosecutor. Otherwise, I wouldn't even want to get the deal.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know they worked with you back then like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And so I did that thing where for a little while my parents let me move back in for a short period of time. I started going, and when you were talking about this is when I knew that kind of the party lifestyle was kind of over with, and I needed to kind of get my stuff together.
Okay, so you were really starting to think like, I want to go.
I was enough is enough.
Okay.
Gotcha. I had a lot of late night experiences in West Side of Dayton over money and people running off with money, and I hung out a lot of at Parkside Homes at that time and around McCook's and
rough.
And
really rough.
I got to see the underside of the world pretty well.
Yeah. You it can be scary out there at times, man. Definitely can.
I didn't want to be stuck there forever, if that made sense.
It does 100% make sense. Yeah, I mean, talking to me, I've experienced it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely makes sense to me. What age were you at this point?
I was almost 22.
Wow. So see, when you go through a life like that, it doesn't take long to hit bottom. Where you're like, I'm just so tired of living like this. It does not take long at all.
But even with the threat of going to prison was enough to get me, to keep me clean. I ended up getting a DUI on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Oh,
during that time.
What were you doing out there?
I was headed back to the place I was staying at, and I missed my turn.
Oh,
so I thought I would just turn around on base, because if I went down Kaufman, I was definitely going to get arrested. So I definitely got arrested on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and had to go to federal court. And that was.
Is it worse then? Is it way worse then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And well, they have a thing where just trespassing is like 10 years in prison.
Oh. So being drunk on there is
that was really
not good.
Yeah.
Shit.
So one of the guys in the program talks about the angels before you, and I went in to go do my plea. They were sentencing these guys who were military to 19 months in jail, and for vandalism. And their dad lost a rank. He lost his full board colonel status. And I thought, boy, if they're going to do that to somebody who belongs here, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So I just figured, I'm just going to bide my time. I didn't tell my probation officer I got arrested. I figured I would just send her a letter from federal prison.
I just write it out.
we'll just go until we can't go.
Sure.
And this guy ended up walking up to me. He goes, "Do you have representation?" I was like, "Absolutely not." He goes, "You're working?" I said, "No, I'm in between jobs right now."
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Fill out this paperwork." And but being in outpatient, on sentencing day when I went in there, the judge goes, "So what do you have to say for yourself?" And I told him, "I see that I'm having some problems in life, so I'm an outpatient right now." And he closes the folder. He goes, "And this is what I want to do instead." So he gave me like unsupervised probation,
Nice.
not too much of a fine. I think it was like $250 and suspended like 750 of it. And if I was ever to be on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I had to have the commander's permission to be on base for the next 10 years. And I got a
Okay.
dossier saying I was a drunk on an FBI file for DUI, and they dismissed the trespassing charges. And I thought I outsmarted the U.S. government.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just another kind of slap on the wrist. Not too bad.
It kind of fed my ego that maybe
You get away with this
I'm
stuff.
almost invincible now.
Oh shit.
And yeah. So 3 weeks later, I'm at a bar downtown Fairborn at Shenanigans, telling about everybody how I'd outsmart the government.
Sure you did.
And that night I went home with a girl, and I remember being there for a while and doing my things you do after the bar closes. And I thought, I need to run down and go get me a pack of cigarettes.
Of course.
And I ended up getting hopefully my final DUI that night. I blew a .32. I blew a 2.3 on the base.
My God.
Yeah. And yeah. And
That's
it's
so high.
and that was that wouldn't include the drugs and
Yeah.
and I don't remember drinking for a couple hours in between time because I was busy with her for a while.
Yeah.
And so I could only imagine what I was like even an hour before.
Right.
So, but yeah, and
Close to death for most people.
yeah, and my probation officer did find out about that one.
Yeah. I bet he was not happy with you.
Actually, it was a girl, and
okay.
she was enraged. And I mean, the thing she said, she goes, "If I send you to prison, it'll be college for you. Your whole life. This will be your whole life going forward."
Yeah.
She's like, "You have $200 left to pay." She goes, "If you can give me $200 by the end of the day, I will put you as completed. You won't have to do any more outpatient, but you will never get probation in Greene County ever again."
Shit.
So you know what I was thinking,
That's
right?
a stern warning. You're invincible now.
No, how do I get $200?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up lying to a couple of people.
Yeah.
And I ended up
You got it.
borrowing the money that never got paid back and ended up cutting it off. And but the problem is the place I was living is in the car that I drove. So and now I'm a little over 22 years old, and I got pulled over by was now Jeff Schmidt.
You didn't have a license then.
No, but the cop comes up to me and he goes, "Grant," and I go, "Yeah, Steve." He's like, "We know if you're awake, you're at least a DUI."
Yeah.
And I was like, he goes, "You might want to go someplace other than here." And so just went out to Dayton and stayed in Dayton.
Okay.
And I lived in that car. And then a series of events led me to an abandoned trailer on the southwest side.
Yep.
It's where Stony Hollow landfill is now. It's at the bottom of that hill off of Vance Road.
I gotcha. Yeah, I lived in an abandoned house off West Broad Street in Stevens in Columbus.
Okay.
I ended up in an abandoned house and lived there for a few months. And I tell you what, in the cold months, it is colder in that abandoned house than it is outside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but it just soaks up that cold, and it's not fun. To wake up and see your breath in the morning.
And walking the street and trying to score and doing all the things.
Trying to get $2 just
sometimes,
to hop on the bus.
Sometimes I would be way far away from the place and still stuck outside with no place to go. Yeah.
I slept behind a couple of McDonald's. It's wild, dude.
Bridges, parks. Believe it or not, at that time, I like cemeteries.
Oh, okay. I got you. I would sleep right and on a speedway sidewalk. It just is what it is.
When cops don't go into cemeteries for the most part.
Yeah.
And as long as you kept quiet and stuff like that, nobody mess with you.
Wouldn't bother you.
And no, we could just hopefully pass out and not wake up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I wouldn't mind sleeping in public places because there'd be a lot of times people would wake you up and just say, "Here you go," and I wouldn't
Oh,
have to work for the money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not in that neighborhood. You'll end up getting rolled.
Well, yeah, I always had to take a bus,
Yeah.
down the street and then, do my thing.
Yeah. So
So, okay, so obviously you're exhausted like I was living in an animalistic level like that and
yeah.
not being able to shower and
Yeah.
all the things that come with it, not eating properly, you
Washing in the
just
river. Yeah. It's
you get tired.
mhm.
You get tired real quick. So where'd you go from your trailer park?
Okay. I would call my mom every now and again, and the last time I had talked to her was probably about 8 months before then when my great aunt died.
Okay.
And I went there with the direct thing that I knew my great aunt had some money, and so I went there to get
Yep.
the stuff out of her medicine cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And she, being the product of the Depression, she always had lots of beer and bottles and stuff in her closet. So I went shopping,
Sure.
and then that was the
Yep.
last time I had saw my mom. But and I get pretty high. I would call her in the middle of the night and tell her what a crappy parent she was, and
Okay.
thanks for this crappy childhood, and
Mm-hmm. You're
this is
blaming.
all your fault.
Blame
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Oh yeah, I would just
Yeah.
cuss her out, and
Yeah. That sucks.
so the night before I got clean, the last thing I remember ever doing is I was over at this guy named Fred's house, and Fred worked at General Motors for like 30 years.
Nice.
And
Good
yes,
for Fred.
and yeah, good for Fred. And but Fred lived in that crap hole because he had like 28 DUIs and he was never going to get his driver's license back. But
Oh shit.
he made really, really good money.
I bet he did.
And and he wasn't really a very good resource because he liked all his stuff for himself, as we all do.
Yeah.
And so I went in there and I was going to ask him for a front, and he's like, "No, you stole from me, you little bastard.
Oh, okay.
He goes, "If I ever catch you in my trailer again, I will shoot you."
Yeah.
And I did steal from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, "Well, can I have one for the road?" He's like, "Get out of my house." So I take a water glass and I fill it full of vodka and I drink it straight down and I leave.
Oh shit.
And I don't really remember too much after that, but what was told me later on is I ended up calling my mother at like 2:30 in the morning, and I just told her I was done. I was going to lay on some railroad tracks and
Yeah. Call it a
I
day.
call it a day.
Absolutely.
And it already survived 2 other suicide attempts. On the night I got arrested for my DUI on base, my sister Kelly picked me up and I tried to hang myself in her basement, but the rope broke.
Oh man.
And then one day I remember taking a whole prescription of Darvocets and a couple Percocets,
Yeah.
and chased it down with a bottle of whiskey and woke up 4 hours later and
A
realized,
real
I
bad
can't even-
stomach ache.
couldn't even kill myself.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And so, but yeah, and then like around noon the next day, bang, 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 bang.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how in the hell did she get here?
Yeah.
And she called suicide prevention. Suicide prevention said to call the police.
Nice.
And since I didn't hang up the phone, they were able to trace the phone call
Yeah.
because I just dropped the payphone and
Yeah.
walked away.
Yeah.
And all they had to do is go up to the bar and go, "Hey, where's he at?"
Mhm.
And they're like, "Right over
I
there."
don't know where he's at.
And I remember opening the door, and my mom, just like in a cartoon, her whole body just went white. And of course, I was like, "What the F are you doing here?"
Mm-hmm.
She goes, "You need to go to the hospital." And I was like,
Down.
"No, I'm not going to no hospital. Not in Montgomery County."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Well, I work at a hospital. I'll take you to my hospital and nobody will know." So, and she goes, "And I'll even buy you lunch." So we went through Snaps,
Yeah.
and which was like kind of like rallies way back in, and then we went to Snaps, and I went to Green Memorial Hospital, and that's where my recovery journey began.
I feel like she might have known that you were actually done that time.
No,
Or
I
at
talked
least
to her a
close
couple
to
of
your
times. It
limit.
was like, you don't have to take me back. I can go to your house, right? And she's like, "Oh no, 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 no." because there's a couple times I tried knocking on the door and they would just turn the lights out.
Yeah.
When they were done with me, they were done with me.
Right.
And so she's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." She goes, "You got to do something else in your life. Go back to your cardboard box."
Yeah.
And but then when I went to the emergency room, and man, she was really pretty.
Yeah.
She was a light-skinned girl, and so she's like, "So how you doing today?" And I was like, "Well, I'm somewhere between homicidal and suicidal."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, okay." And then she walks out, and two guys walk in, and she's there, and she's like, "Well, how about if you stay the night? We'll get you some clothes, you get a shower." And I'm already beginning to feel like I'm getting withdrawal. I'm
Absolutely.
3 hours into it now, and
Yeah.
I know that things are going to get bad in a couple more.
Real quick.
Yeah. And they're like, "Don't worry about that. We'll help you with that."
Valiant.
So I was like, "Okay, get a shower, new clothes." And I had this thing in my head that I'll just be here for just stay the night, and I'll figure out everything in the morning.
Yeah.
And but they put me on a 3-day pink slip.
Of course they did.
And but the thing that really got me, it really, really did, is that they put you in this room that is just so bright. I mean, it's like, especially when you're used to being at night. But anyway, it was so bright. And they tell you to take off your clothes and put this on and get a shower. And
was it kind of like a padded room, or?
It was like a little tiny bathroom area. And of course, they're watching you through. And so, I was observed, but nobody was there. And I remember I saw all my ribs were sticking out. My belly was swollen. I looked literally like a white Ethiopian.
Yeah.
And when they were doing all my vitals and stuff, they're like, "Wow, you're down to 117 pounds. I'm like, holy smokes, how in the world did I get here?
Yeah.
And you know what? I was so empty. I couldn't cry. There was just, I just really felt dead inside. And I remember telling myself that I blamed the homelessness. It wasn't the drugs. It wasn't the lifestyle. All that stuff was fine. If I could find a way to do it, not being homeless, all would be good. So I will do whatever it takes not to be homeless. I made that decision right there. And then, well, it was 3 days, ended up being 6 days there.
Nice.
And this is obviously, back in 93 when I got clean.
Okay.
And so there was no HIPAA. And the lady who was my outpatient counselor, her name was Sherry. She met a guy in the Nova House who went to meetings with her.
Okay.
And his name was Herb. And Herb had a place he worked for the Next Step in Springfield. She's like, "They got this young kid. He has no place to go." He's like, bring him on down.
Bring him.
Yeah. He goes, "I'll take him."
Nice.
He opened up a little, what they call a 3-quarter house on the west side of Springfield, on the corner of West Mulberry and South
Sober House
Street.
Little sober house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, he had convinced Mr. Riddle to take one of his abandos and let him just fix it up for rent. And they would, over a period of time, we would restore the house in lieu of rent, and he would be able to get his house rentable again. And so I went into basically, plaster falling off the walls, one bathroom worked. There was one hallway that was for the girls, which there was like 3 girls there. And
again?
Yeah.
What?
And but there was a house manager though, and his name was Luther.
Oh.
And Luther stayed there all the time. Yes. And so, but Herb, he was probably the first real person I'd met in recovery that I could really identify.
Gotcha.
He's another one of those angels that was before me that at a fork of road in my life.
We need people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To show us it's even possible for somebody like us to come back to life after being that close to death.
And he, back then, general relief took like 10 days because you had to do the snail mail thing.
What's that?
Mail. You had to mail your application in. It had to go to Human Services, and they mailed everything back. Now it's all done online. It can be done in like 72 hours.
Right now, yeah.
And but that's how they verified your addresses. You had to mail something to you, and you had to mail something back from that address.
Okay.
And then So anyway, he goes, you get at least one meal a day. I'll get you one pack of cigarettes a day. You have to go do a meeting every day. You have to do something, as far as working towards your recovery. You have to go to McKinley Hall. You have to get an assessment.
Okay.
You have to meet with me
Yeah.
at the beginning every afternoon at 2. And he goes, and we'll go from there.
Wow.
And my response is I don't know how long this will last. One, I don't do meetings because they don't work for me.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you have to do meetings.
You're gonna do it anyway.
He goes, and don't think about the bartender signing your paper. He goes, because I know everybody in this town. I'm like, nobody knows everybody in this town.
Yeah.
I used to be a bus driver in this town.
Oh,
So he knew every junkie, clean or not clean.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get around him. He was pretty wise. And and I, a couple days later, I was like, well, I might end up stealing your TV. He goes, we'll get another TV, but you won't be coming back here.
Yeah.
And I thought, didn't shock him at all. He just kind of gave me what will happen if you do so.
Yeah.
So
This is what it is.
Yeah. So
You're only fucking yourself.
Yeah. So obviously going out there, they had I had to see Dr. Graves, and he put me on stabilizing meds. And then the person who's now the CEO of McKinley Hall is the one who did my assessment.
That's crazy.
And so it took about 10 minutes of talking about my life, and I was inpatient qualified.
But you were. I bet you were. Absolutely.
So
I wonder how long McKinley Hall's been around then. So that was 93.
And I was one of the first 3 groups of where the Easton Mound was. So I was like one of the first people in what was the Hope House.
So that was when they first started then.
Yeah.
About 93.
Yeah,
they helped so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now McKinley Hall's around before that, but they were more just like an outpatient. The only inpatient stuff was at community hospital, and that was Parkside.
Okay.
And you had to have insurance for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you stayed. You didn't steal their TV, it sounds like.
No.
Yeah.
It took about 3.5 weeks to get into McKinley Hall because it was only 12 beds. And it was 90 days.
Yep. Oh, it was 90 days.
Yes.
Okay, they're taking shit serious.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
They figured the first month to get your brain together, the second month to get your treatment stuff together, and your last month to kind of get your world together.
I mean, I like it. Yeah. I'm not against it at all. Yeah.
The things that caused it to not be that was, one, it took a long time for people to get in, and it was the only game in town at that time. And 2, the funding for 90 days was getting harder and harder to approve for insurances, because you can go to Parkside and do it for 30 days.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it was 42 days the first time I went, and that was in 2016.
Right.
So
yeah, it went to like 60 for a long time, and then it was at 45 for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
man, I think I even stayed an extra week or 2 the first time I went.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm scared shitless. I did not want to fuck up again.
Yeah.
So,
well, I didn't have a place to go after I went, even
Neither
after
did I.
there. And and there was no sober living back then.
okay.
Your choices was to go to Mickey's, which was just a flop house, and most of the people were high.
Yeah.
Or go to the Craig House, which would get you in. If you didn't smoke crack before, you'd be smoking crack then.
Really?
And so there was really no safe place to go. And Herb let me come back.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
After the treatment.
He's like, normally I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
He goes, this bed could be used for somebody coming off the street. He goes, but
I have faith in you.
He goes, it would be bad if I didn't. He goes, if I put you back, he goes, I have good conscience. I just can't put you back on there and have you go backwards and throw all this away.
How long did you stay back at his house?
Actually, 10 months in, he comes up to me and he's like, we have to get you an apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? He goes, we just have to get you an apartment. I was like, okay. And so he took me up to Tubman Towers. I talked to, which was a 55 and older community.
Okay.
And he talks to the office manager. He's like, he won't fuck around. He goes, you have my word. He'll be good.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, if I get caught, I'll be in big trouble.
Wow.
I was like, he has to be on Social Security or something like that before he can truly stay. And I did file for it because I used to give Social Security for people who were afflicted.
Really?
Up until 96.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And So I applied when I was in McKinley Hall, and 2 months after I got my apartment, I actually got it. I actually got
Shit.
a monthly check.
Wow.
It wasn't much. So,
yeah.
but yeah, even the federal government said I was a drug addict.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
So,
So, but I just looked at it as a good way to pay my bills and go to a lot of meetings and not have to work for a while.
yeah. Did you end up getting a sponsor in that time?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what was your recovery like?
Well,
What made you think like this is the life I want to live? I don't want to go back. At what point did you see that? Was it a couple years in, or was it
no, much earlier
immediately?
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A guy named John Kidd, who's no longer with us. He was one of my temporary sponsors when I first came.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, and because I was the next step where the Urban League is, old black white. I was there, and he goes, "I'll sponsor you." He goes, "You need somebody to show you around the neighborhood, so you don't end up getting tripped up."
Yeah.
And so he was kind of like my temporary sponsor for a while, and towards the latter part of me being in McKinley Hall, there was a guy named Dave Collins. He's no longer with us.
The name sounds familiar.
And yeah, he passed away not too long ago. They had a
Yeah.
memorial for him.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, I liked what he had to say in the meeting. And I was like, I could relate to him. He talked about how he struggled, with the past, staying clean.
Mhm.
He wasn't too crazy about God when he first came. I mean, and he had good days and he had bad days. He wasn't a sunshine pumper. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask this guy to be my sponsor.
Yeah.
And so, because I knew from my life that just not using sucked. Because when I closed my eyes, I still felt empty and I still felt enraged.
I think it's a common theme. You just have this empty void in you. You really do. Once you get clean, you can't just.
Well, there's the reason why I got high.
Yeah. Tell me.
Because I felt empty and I was enraged, and the only thing that I ever found outside of that was high. So I needed to find something to replace that.
Yeah.
And Dave gave me things to do. He's like, you can read every bit of literature. He goes, but until you see it in yourself for yourself, he goes, you'll never get it. He's like, okay, so I want you to do a harmful consequence. You write down every consequence you ever paid. From losing your wallet to losing a job to losing your freedom to losing your health to losing your place. He goes, all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did my last month when I was in McKinley Hall, because we were going to work getting steps until I got out.
Did a whole list of consequences.
It was yeah, and he's like, try to put it in chronological order.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a lot. And, so he's like, okay, so what do you think? And I was like, I need a bodyguard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he goes, exactly. He goes, he would make me think a lot. He's like, if Sandy's doing the same thing over and over again, and I see a pattern in this thing, things would get good, you get high, things get bad, things get good. You always went from one consequences to the next. And if there was no consequence, you go make one.
Yeah, you find one.
And he goes, so how do you beat insanity? And I was like, good. I don't know how. He goes, be brave and do something different.
Yeah, change it up.
And so that's when I pretty much got to be at my third step. That, hey, I really want to do something different.
I was just going to ask you, how are you feeling about God this whole time?
Still an atheist.
Or a higher power.
Yeah.
I should say.
But there was this guy. His name was Deep Dawn. He used to go to the Fellowship Club a lot, and he was
Deep Dawn.
Deep Dawn. His voice was like,
oh, okay, yeah, deep voice.
He's been gone, and he talked about how he pulled up a bar stool and drank the idea of God right away. He goes, so when he came in here, he goes, I'm a biker. There ain't no God. There's Harley Davidson and Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And he goes, but you know what? He goes, I really want something different. And he told me something that I don't know if he was just telling me, but he shared it in a meeting. He goes, I went to my house and I went into the bathroom and I shut the door and I turned on the water and I turned off the lights and I said a prayer. He goes, and then I went out into my living room and realized I live alone. Who am I hiding from? He goes, somewhere along the line, he knew that his innermost self, he did believe in something out there.
Yeah.
And he'd been hiding from it. And
Yeah.
I needed to find that something to not hide from anymore. And I thought, well, if he would do that, I'll do that. So I did the same thing. I went back to where I was at. I shut the door,
Gave it a shot.
and I remember my first prayer. I don't know if there's anything out there, but I sure could use some help.
Yeah.
And that's my first go around with my third step. It was I remember going telling my sponsor, I was like, I did my third step prayer. He goes, you did, huh? I was like, yep. I'm gonna drink this coffee. I'm gonna smoke these cigarettes. I'm gonna do all this shit that you guys do. And when it don't work, I'm gonna tell you about it.
Yeah.
He's like, good.
Let's go. Let's
Let's go on
go.
your fourth step.
Let's go.
And I was like, is this like a confession? He goes, no. He goes, it's finding out what your morals are, what you believe in. It's a moral inventory, not an immoral inventory. He goes, and even in the immoral things we do, we can find our morals in them.
Yeah.
And he pulled a fast one on me. When I would go through it, he goes, if you weren't high, what would you have done instead? And I had to write that down. And then he's like, and see, that's your moral.
So you would, yeah, that makes sense.
He goes, and that's what you truly believe in when you're not under the influence. He goes, we must learn how to not be influenced by the things on the outside of us.
The Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde
Yeah.
type deal.
And so after I did the fifth step with him, he goes, do you have it all? Is this it? Is this all you can remember? Because we can come back. He goes, but if you feel you're at a good place to move forward, how you doing? And then going into sixth step, I was like, I did most of that stuff on purpose. I am a terrible, terrible person. No wonder everybody doesn't like me. How I don't like me.
Yeah.
And he goes, do you want to be something different? I said, in every way in the world. Because what once was okay was not okay
No longer
anymore.
okay.
I'd been practicing because I would go to him and I would for a long time. And he'd have me do something in the morning because I wasn't in morning prayer. He goes, tell yourself, today I won't try not to lie, cheat, or steal from anybody. And at the very most, if I can't do any of those things, I just won't pick up no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you go to that checklist. Did you pick up? Nope. Did you try to be honest? Yep. Did you steal anything? Nope. He goes, you're better than you were when you came in.
Yeah.
You're better than you were when you came in. And
it's just like working out, man.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere. And it's
Yes.
just like building them reps day after day after day after day,
Yeah. I used to flip myself off in the mirror.
Yeah.
And even in that abandoned trailer, I put black plastic bags over the glass so I couldn't see my reflection. And he would have me things, when I was in my apartment, he'd have me hang things like on the door. Do you leave? There's nothing, absolutely nothing. Picking up can't make worse.
Yeah, just a reminder.
And
it's so important.
Yeah, and it's the bathroom above the sink.
Yeah,
I'll be better today than I was yesterday.
Yeah, sticky notes, man.
And those are things I saw every day. I'll be better today than I was yesterday. And he would say things like, what I do today will affect my tomorrow.
Yeah. When you did that first prayer, when you were done or during it, did you feel like a sense of relief or an overwhelming something come over?
No, but it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And there was a sign at the Old Alano Club that said coincidence start happening when we start praying. I remember first seeing that. I was like, that's full of shit.
Yeah.
And from when you're clean number 25, my wife handmade me a sign with wood and a wood burning tool and stained in all that stuff. It now hangs in our dining room. It says, that. So that's a full circle. But yeah, I just started doing it every day. Or pretty much every day.
How old were you at this time?
At this time, I'm 25.
25. I was 26. The first time I came in and took it real serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 25. At 24, and I turned 25 about a month of it. My belly button birthday is in July. Clean dates in June.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we started going through the steps. So you were at step 6. So let's go on with that.
Okay.
I like that.
So I told Mike, he goes, well, you're ready to be something different? And I was like, yeah. So he goes, what your trouble is your scale's like this. You have all this thing wearing you down and nothing to balance it out. Because I'll tell you what, he goes, I want you to go and try to do some random acts of kindness. And you can't tell anybody. Tell anybody, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, if it's just pushing a shopping cart back into a Family Dollar, it's opening the door for somebody, or giving somebody a couple of cigarettes, even when they didn't ask.
Yeah.
He goes, just little stuff. If if you can do it, you know, buy 2 meals and give somebody one. And he goes, and just don't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, and we'll see how that goes. And and it really got me into the habit. I would start thinking of what I could put into the world, not so much what I was getting out of it. Because it
Yeah.
felt better to do something for somebody else than it did for myself. I
Yeah.
wasn't a conscious thought of that, but I could see the byproduct. I began to feel better and better.
Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to take.
Yeah,
take.
and
Yeah.
I always had this feeling waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doomsday.
yeah,
When's it
it
coming?
was just a matter of time.
Yep.
And that's why I told Herb that, you know, this thing don't work for people like me. You know,
Mhm.
meetings don't work for people like me.
Yeah.
And somewhere in that wheelhouse, that feeling waiting to shoot the other drop. And I
Mhm.
wasn't thinking about doing drugs all the time. You know, I was. It was easily turning down people who were, you know, on Pleasant Street. If they asked me if I was looking, I could go into Quality and actually buy a soda. Cups. I used to walk all the way to
That crazy.
Diana Pizza to get one, just so I wouldn't have to be in Dangerland.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, things are going pretty well. And
What happened when we get to step 8 and 9?
he goes, all right, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it, right? And I put my money where my mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes. He goes, you know, forgiveness is impossible for people like us. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, we're too self-centered to forgive anybody. We still want to get something out of it if we're honest with ourselves. I'm only going to forgive you to make me feel better. How's that sound? You can't tell anybody that. They won't take it serious.
Yeah.
He's like, but if you go and say, hey, I know we need to set this straight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how can I make this right? He goes, and then you'll be able to face them with good conscience. And then maybe in turn, they'll be able to look at you in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So put your money where your mouth is. And forgiveness will be the byproduct of that. He goes, you can't forgive anybody until you put your money where your mouth is. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
how do I do this? He goes, well, we put it on paper and we go over what we're going to say.
Yeah.
Some of them need it. Some of them don't need it.
Yeah.
But one thing that's always important, and why a sponsor is so important, or that trusted friend, is that sometimes the things in my head just need oxygen. So if I share it with somebody, it becomes very real and tangible. And I can say, well, yeah, that's probably not necessary. Or, you know what, that was necessary and I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
And they,
So wise, man.
yeah,
He's super
yeah.
wise.
And
Wow.
so, and for him, that was a good start.
Mm-hmm.
But I met this girl and at the fellowship club at one of the dances, and we ended up getting married. And she
Oh.
was in recovery.
Wow.
And
Not your current wife.
no,
Okay.
no. So we were together 2.5 years or so,
Mm-hmm.
engaged to get married. Shortly before we get married, she finds the pill mill. You know, where they remember you could go to the pain treatment places.
Oh.
And that's when the OxyContin thing first came to see.
Yeah.
This was like 97, 98.
Yeah. Yeah.
My 30th birthday, she overdosed.
Yeah.
Had to go have her stomach pumped. Had step kids. This time you know, I had done some pretty cool stuff. I helped a guy build a 64-foot catamaran
A what?
sailboat. That
What
was
is that?
neat. Huh? I met a guy named Mark in Beaver Creek.
What'd you build? I'm sorry.
Catamaran. You know, the boats that have 2 holes and the thing in the middle.
Oh yeah, with the sail and
It was the sail in the middle. Yeah,
built that?
yeah. He owned a place called Major Video, and he sold out his company to this little company called Blockbuster Video. So he's like 28 years old, worth like $5 million, and his dream in his whole life is to sail a boat around the world.
No shit.
And he's like, if I can build it for, you know, under 300,000, sail it around the world and still sell it for $1 million. He goes, so I'll get to do my dream and
Make money when
and
I'm
make
done.
money doing it. And he goes, will you help me do it? Because the place he was building the hulls was just like Visqueen and PVC, and that's where he just did the first woodworking portions of it.
Mm-hmm.
And snow smashed it in. So I went there to get the snow up and help get the Visqueen back up, and then we knocked it out in a couple of days. And he's like, and then he offered me the job to do that. So for like 1.5 years, that's what I did.
Wow.
And then I did some roofing and
That's
things
really
like that.
cool.
Yeah, I got to
That's
do,
really
yeah.
cool.
Life was beginning to have, remember how much I loved the using because of the adventures it had.
Mhm.
Recover began to have some of these adventures. I'm beginning to meet people that I would have never met in a million years.
Wow.
My first wife, she went by the nickname Candy.
Mhm.
And we were kind of like, I thought we were like the young royalty,
Yeah.
both under 30 or
Yeah.
both, doing leads
Getting
and
your shit
oh,
together.
we had it together. I had a house with a front porch, I had kids, I
Whole
had a
thing.
car, I had a license,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting a job with a heat treat place because the construction thing had, one, it didn't come with any insurance, and two, it was always very seasonable.
Yeah.
So I needed something that was more around the clock thing.
Mhm.
But her addiction got to be pretty bad. And
Was there an injury that caused her to get on the pain meds, or did she
she
just?
worked at a machine shop.
Mhm.
She got a degree in being a machinist at OIC, and she went there and they diagnosed her with fibromyalgia.
Heard of it.
And but they gave her literally a sack of pills. 118, 5'3", pounds. And she was very fit. She
It's just buffering. We're good.
okay. So and they gave her a sack of, it started with OxyContins and a couple of Claudidins for anxiety. And
I shit you not. I was 20 years old and I met this girl. She was 34 years old and she had fibromyalgia, and she would have a tackle box with all of her prescriptions in it.
oh yeah,
And she ended up putting a lock on it because I was stealing all of her
oh yeah,
medications. And I would pull the metal strip out of the back and just open it the other way.
yeah,
And then I would refill her capsules with sugar or whatever.
yeah,
And I did this for years, but she had fibromyalgia
yeah,
too, and she was on all the
yeah.
pills. So it's just wild.
But she
It's
would
just
be
crazy to
yeah.
me.
So,
Just another
and
part of our story that matches up.
yeah,
Other than I was
yeah.
not
So
clean at the time.
so that came ahead, and when things were going really bad, in the first part of my first sponsor, Dave C, he kind of stopped going to meetings, and he's kind of having wife problems. And whenever I go talk to him about what's going on at home, he's like, well, you ever thought about quitting smoking? He goes, maybe it's just the anxiety of too much nicotine. He goes, maybe you need to purify your life. And I was like, no.
I can't do that. That's the only thing I got left.
Yeah. You don't understand that I will murder her one day.
Yeah.
And in court, I'm going to ask you for a pack of cigarettes to go to prison on. And but there was this other guy. He went by Tennessee Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to the Thursday meeting every week for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, and when he would speak, I would leave
Feeling fantastic.
This is the bump I needed.
Yep.
I don't know if he realizes it. So I went up to him, and I was just under 7 years clean at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what do you think about sponsorship? He looks at me and goes, you want to sponsor me? I was like, He goes, I tell you what. He goes, you got my number. We'll take this a day at a time like everything else.
Yeah.
What you doing later on? He goes, why don't you come over to my house? We'll talk. And that guy changed me more than anybody in this world.
Really?
He talked a lot about emotional sobriety. So even when my ex-wife came up to me and says, well, I'd rather be his number 2 than your number 1, which was kind of like the last straw. And I'm like, you're going to lose the house. You're going to lose the kids. You're going to lose everything. And she looked at me and she goes, I don't care.
Damn.
Until like 6 weeks later, hey, the rent's due.
Damn.
I was like, well, sorry.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you married me and it's your responsibility. I was like, no,
I didn't marry that.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't marry that.
And
that's not what I got into. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you were talking about just how you felt about the meeting things. So I would go into a meeting anywhere in this town, it didn't matter which fellowship, and they'd ask how she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Is she getting her stuff together yet? And I'm like,
that's rough.
Yeah,
that's really tough.
Yeah, and I'm like, first of all, I think you're all just feeling it out so you can go bang her. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Which some of them might have
been.
And
so and then Tennessee Dave, I was like, what am I supposed to do? He goes, You would get high and wake up in Michigan or on the other side of the state at a whim. He
Mhm.
goes, you know where they have meetings at? Everywhere.
Yeah.
He goes, why don't you just get out of this town? Go look around. See what they have to offer. Go hear some fresh voices.
Yeah.
Nobody will ask you about her there. He
Yeah.
goes, and come back to me and tell me what they said.
Huh.
And I would do that. I was like, man, I went to a great meeting. You know, they talked about detachment today. He goes, what do you think about detachment? I was like, I have no idea what it is. He
Yeah.
goes, I got just the thing for you. And he hands me this tape of this guy from North Carolina. Does a whole talk on detachment about making everything around me the right size.
Hmm.
If humility is me being the right size, detachment means everybody else is the right size. And how do you find that? He goes, stay close to God because he's the ultimate ruler of measurement.
So, are you talking about detachment from your relationship? What are we?
Well, he would say the thing, or all right, there's a guy named Walt. He goes, what occupies your mind and time will become your higher power.
Okay.
And that's always been true, whether it was money, girls, drugs, whatever I was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
goes, and I would get stuck on it.
Mhm.
You know, literature talks about how we'll go back to the first step again on many different things. And I
Mhm.
would find that to be a pattern. And he goes a little farther. He goes, the things you dwell upon own you and control you. He goes, and unless, how does the puppet get away from the puppet master? Do you know the answer? You cut the strings. And I was like, well, how do you do that? He goes, scissors detached one part of the string to the other.
Yeah.
He goes, you have to find a way to cut it.
You gotta cut it off.
And he goes, and sometimes it's by prioritizing things, and sometimes realizing that this is not a string, it's a button. And so I would go in there, and he would, you know, start talking about a lot of the different philosophies from different religions and different, you know, books of literature and the
Mhm.
program and stuff. And it would talk about, you know, humility, making myself the right size. And how do I do that?
Mhm.
The closer I stay to my higher power, the more evident that becomes. He
Yeah.
goes in the step further in that in emotional sobriety, goes the farther, the closer I get to my God makes everything else the right size. And
So during this period, that brought you closer to God, then.
absolutely. And I still wasn't a churchgoer or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we went through the steps again on emotional sobriety a couple of times. And it was on behaviors and actions that had nothing to do with about picking up.
Yeah.
And at this time in my life, I would tell people I like it in this phase of my life, you know, 7, 8 years in, I for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like a little kid sitting at the big people table.
Yeah.
I finally
You
felt like a
worthy.
grown up.
Yeah. It makes
And
sense.
I mean, even though I could say I had grown up things in my life, I never on the inside really felt like I was there yet.
You felt good about yourself.
And
where you were
and
at.
I made some decisions going forward that anybody I would be with was not in the program. They would have to have a belief in God, and they'd have to have a direction in life.
Also, so once you got divorced from her, you would not be with another person in the program.
I don't know if I would. I didn't know if I could ever go through that heartbreak again.
I'm sure that had
it was a
to be
year and a half
extremely
of
tough.
yes, of the overdoses and the stealing and the money. And the main reason why I stayed there for the most part, Nate, was because I knew she would leave her kids.
Yeah.
I mean, her kids would get taken from her,
Yeah.
and she didn't have them 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I
So I
literally
felt like
could
the
not
pressure,
imagine that.
had the pressure of, well, I got to make this work in my life. This is my life.
You loved them.
Yes, absolutely. Loved her with all my might.
Yeah.
And so I go through these steps again, and I'm working at the Mueller Center. And this girl named Jennifer got moved from one portion of it from Blue Cottage to where I was at Red Cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing, you know, very pretty, blue eyes, you know, young. She was, you know, getting ready to start college, and you know, she, you know, talked about going to church.
Yeah.
She was literally the hall monitor in school. She was the goody.
Yeah.
And obviously I was not the hall monitor.
You were
We couldn't be
what they were
too
looking out for.
And but we ended up talking a little bit, and then I'd say probably about 6 weeks after she got there, she goes, "You want to come over to my house and watch a movie?" And because we talked about the usual suspects, I just like, this is going on in 2000. They're like, what's a great movie? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you got, everybody says Silence of the Lambs and all that,
Yes.
but they have The Usual Suspects is what I consider a great movie.
Mhm.
And she's like, so I brought over my VHS tape to her house.
Yes.
And the next week we watched Daylight, and the third week we went on a date, and
That's amazing.
And tomorrow will be our 17th anniversary being married,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
and in April will be 26 years together.
That's amazing. Congratulations, first
Thank you.
off on that.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to back up though a little bit and just talk about so she was your ex-wife. She was obviously a completely different person when she was clean, right? She
Yes.
turned into
Oh,
this
absolutely.
other
Yeah.
monster. And was there like a particular incident that happened where you're just like, I cannot do this anymore?
Yeah, when she told me that she would, okay. She wrecked my car. Well, first she wrecked her car and got a DUI. And then my car was the only car that was operational. And she was, for side money, she was babysitting somebody's kid. They had that kid, she had that kid in the back seat of my car. She hit a car on the way to pick me up from work.
Yeah.
And the insurance company didn't cover that. So I lost my license. She lost her license. Obviously, the mom wanted to shoot her.
Yeah.
And she left the scene of the accident. And I had to go back and talk the cop into not arresting her for a DUI.
Shit.
And so I'm driving around in this crashed car. Literally the next day, I'm taking a towing chain around the tree and backing it up. I'm like, and I remember doing this just to get off there, and I wired the radiator back to it, and I got the hood to stay down, and with some tools and bending and that was the point. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
She's gonna pull you down with her,
and I don't know if I'm gonna stay clean.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna pull you right down.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of like that. I've heard this before. Like, you can't make somebody get clean, but the opposite is true. Somebody can make you, well, not make you, but somebody can pull you down to their level.
Oh yeah, and I am going back through that steps again. I was not I said a lot of mean shit to her to try to get her to get
her shit together.
Yeah.
Did she ever get her shit together?
No, she ended up dying later on. She found some bits, a little recovery every now and again. But she actually ended up dying on my 49th birthday.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That's so
sad.
And
the person who told me, my wife.
How's she know?
Because she worked with remember Mark Sowers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good guy.
I've known him for a long time, right? And I've known him since he got clean. And my wife worked with his wife.
Okay.
And his wife, Kim, tried to get Candy straight a couple of times, and it popped up on her Facebook that Candy had passed away, and then Kim told my wife, and my wife, guys,
I love
for you. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how I ended up finding that out.
Yeah. And prayers out for Cole too. I don't know how he's doing, but I hope he's doing well. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So, but so okay, we're at the point where you met your new wife.
Yeah.
Right. And you've already gone through your steps. You're probably 10 years clean when you met your
going on
your wife,
8 years. I'm at 8 years now.
Okay.
And we're together probably maybe 6 weeks. And she stayed with her mom. I'm staying with another guy in the program named Jim Sullivan, who is another key person in my program.
Yeah.
And I was like, we should probably get a place together. And I don't know why in the world I said it.
Yeah.
But I just
came out.
It just came out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? We'll just go with it. So we ended up getting an apartment in Coventry Village. It's the first time I ever had like a dishwasher.
Yeah.
There was no holes in it. I mean, this is the nicest place I'd ever lived in my entire life.
Yeah.
It had a balcony. There was a pool there. And I thought, this is life I could really get used to.
Yeah.
And when I took her to meet my parents, and we're out in the garage and smoking a cigarette, because that was like the smoking lounge. Jennifer goes back into the kitchen to go get her a Diet Mountain Dew. And my mom and dad both told me, if anything happens, we're keeping her. And so that was just their way of saying, hey, you know what? Don't screw this up.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's something that's always happened with every one of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them is ended terribly.
Yeah.
And in one form or another.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at this time, me and my brother Todd had an issue over a girl, and we did not talk for years and years, almost 10 years now.
Oh shit.
And this is, you know, the middle finger was usually how I said hello to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he would usually give me a double bird back, and not a thing would be said.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were ever close by, there was usually people in between to make sure there wasn't a fist fight to start.
Yeah.
And as soon as I meet after Jennifer, he comes and walks up to me. He goes, "I notice you're a different person now." He goes, "I've been watching lately." He goes, "I've really been watching lately." He goes, "How about you and me just when we just start over?" I was like, "Okay." He goes, "You like fishing?" It's like, "I might go fishing." And one of the things in my first ninth step thing, I was like, "I don't know if this would be the one that could ever be done."
Yeah. Might cause more harm than
Right.
good. Yeah.
And and I don't think it'd be. I don't even think you would have answered the door to do it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, um, I got to make my amends at that time,
Yeah.
and that was kind of like the last of the family amends.
Mm-hmm.
And things were going really well. I
Mhm.
mean, we had some big things happen in the family. My uncle Brian committed suicide, and so that was really tough. My mom was like wanting me to talk to him because he committed suicide over his use,
Mm.
and I was the guy being clean.
Yeah.
I got to my brother was clean 7.5 years when I came in or so.
Scott or Todd? Scott. Okay.
And and I got to do a lead in front of him and my sisters and all that, and that was like really cool.
Yeah.
Scott comes up to me, he goes, "You're a lot better at this than me."
That's
he goes,
amazing.
He goes, "This life's for you. You stick with it."
Absolutely.
And so, what do you do when the hero of your life tells you something like that?
You follow it.
Just as like, "Hey, man, you want to get high?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It was almost one of those
kind of like
kind of turn things. My first clean concert, my favorite band is Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Right. And when I was 12 years old, the band disbanded over the drummer, Brian. My first clean concert, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant down in Cincinnati,
That's
95.
awesome.
So things are, you know, really good. And
You're realizing that you can live a life clean, have fun.
oh, yeah. And then when my Jennifer,
new
it
experience.
became traveling and, you know, just all the things that two kind of like just single people can do.
Mm-hmm.
And life was much better. We bought a house.
Yeah.
I quit smoking cigarettes.
Wow.
Um,
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I've struggled with. I've tried a couple times, man. I just.
you know what? We were at her grandpa's house talking to her grandma. And her
Mhm.
grandma was like in a chair here, and there was a refrigerator there, and by the end of the couch there was a TV, and just on the other side of that was the bed where she stayed at, and where your little thing is, she had a porta potty with oxygen hanging in the middle, and her whole life was 6 feet with oxygen. That's all she could walk with oxygen. Her whole life was there.
From smoking.
And I thought, that will be me. I've
Yeah.
been smoking since I was 10 years old. I
Yep.
smoked a lot. I smoked a couple packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
And I looked over at Jennifer, and then Jennifer's 12 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want her to have to take care of me like that.
Yeah.
At 75, I still want to be doing stuff with her.
That's how I'm feeling too. I want to live a long, healthy life. And I just
So-
gotta quit these bad habits that I'm doing. The Red Bull and the smoking. It's
Yeah. Well,
you know.
after watching both my parents die from smoking, I'm glad I did. It's a terrible end.
How long have you been nicotine free?
Since 2003, so 22 years.
Do you feel like your lungs have
Actually, I have
rejuvenated?
COPD as a result. I didn't
do?
know how bad my lungs were, but yeah, I take I take an inhaler every day.
Really?
But yeah, but I can live a full life other than that. It's just
For sure.
I can get the air in. I just can't get all the carbon dioxide out.
Right.
But yeah, it opened a whole nother world to a certain extent. You know, I got me a little truck
Mm-hmm.
that had a broken timing chain on it. And
Okay.
and the thing I was going to do with the extra money in my time is I was going to drop it to the ground. It was a little Toyota truck. I was going to make me a little truck. I was going to make a little cool truck.
Yeah.
And just about got that thing done. And Jennifer had something happen where she couldn't take her birth control anymore. She had
Okay.
she got a blood clot.
Okay.
So where they were figuring out why she got that, they gave her a whole bunch of steroids. So she was getting the Depo-Provera. So we thought we was good for like a little while.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about
Well,
it.
God
Surprise.
said, guess what?
Surprise.
You're going to be a dad.
Oh, shit.
And when we got together, we both decided, kids are probably not for us. She grew up in a single home. Life was hard, with a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I just don't know if I could be a parent.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I grew up in the war zone. I mean, I don't know how to raise a kid without kicking them in the chest.
Yep.
I got I thought I was a pretty good parent with Candy's kids, but
Mm-hmm.
just all the trauma of all the things that happened beforehand, I really doubted it. Now I'm
I
pushing,
get it.
I'm 40 years old. I'm like, I'm going to be 60 when I get
Yeah.
out of high school. None of the Kunkel clan that I know of when I met of the Kunkel bunch.
Uh-huh.
Most of the guys don't live over 60.
Right.
They all die.
Yeah.
And that was a real concern.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Jennifer was there. My brother Scott went back out.
Oh, shit.
And he smoked crack and he drank whiskey and he was diabetic. And around about 13 years in, this is the closest I ever came to getting high.
Yeah.
And I mean, Todd's talked to me on the phone. He's like, I got to stay here for the cops and the ambulance. You have to go tell mom. And as soon as he told me, I could smell bourbon. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And when he told me I had to go tell mom, I was like, well, after I tell her, So that was the break I needed. It really was. It was.
Yeah.
And then when I walked into my house where my mom was, and she's like, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
She just knew. And then the scream and the cry. Same room that my grandma did it when we told her about my Uncle Brian.
Yeah.
So she threw me through all this stuff. And so when the news that, Gabe, she goes, you're not going to leave me, are you? And I was like, well, what kind of dick do you think I am? Of course I'm not going to leave you. And I talked to my sponsor, and I was like, well, actually, when Scott died, I went to go talk to Tennessee Dave. And Tennessee Dave's like, well, you remember when I had my appendix out last month? I was like, yeah. He goes, remember when I told you I was coughing up blood? And I was like, yeah. He goes, well, I have lung cancer and it's in my brain. And he goes, and I'm on the short list. He goes, so I'm kind of wrapped up in myself right now. And I'm like, all right, I'll be there for you. Thank you for being there for me. And for the next 6 months, I watched him rot from cancer. He died on June 8th of 2006. And I was in a dark, dark place. Jenny really saved me from that. And because I would go to meetings. I mean, every room was haunted. When anybody said anything spiritual, that made me miss Dave a little bit more.
Reverted from it.
Oh my gosh, yes, it was just like, oh yeah, I remember that scab.
Yeah.
And then
my first sponsor, his mom had cancer, his aunt had cancer. He was taking care of both of them. I was a year and a half clean, and then he got cancer, and he didn't last too much longer. And
that was Johnny, wasn't it?
Yeah, Johnny. I didn't have.
That was Kenny's cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not have the strength to watch.
Yeah.
To watch it.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret it. I regret it a lot, actually.
Well, the last thing Tennessee Dave told me, he goes, Grant, don't sweat the small stuff. He goes, and it's the all small stuff.
Yeah.
And so I go through that season of that stuff, and this guy from Yellow Springs was getting his 58th anniversary for his token. They named the Christopher House after him.
Really?
And he's the one who gave me my 1-year token.
Wow.
So I was like, I have to go to that.
Yeah.
And there's like 200 people in the little church down in Yellow Springs.
And
just everybody praying at the same time. I don't remember what the guy said. I remember everything during the lead. I was just still, as soon as this gets over, I just can't wait to get out of here. That literally, I was just all up in myself. Yeah. But when everybody started doing that prayer, I was like, that's the feeling I miss.
Yeah.
And
kind of brought you back.
Yeah. So the guy who was my first sponsor, a guy named Fred Frost, I was like, I need a sponsor. He goes, you know what to do? And I was like, yeah, don't drink, don't drug, call you. He goes, that's a good start. And then I told him, I was like, I've had to re-examine all my relationships in my life. I don't think I'm very good at relationships. And the one thing I noticed about you and Veronica is you guys have a great relationship.
Hmm.
And so he's like, oh, okay, we can work on that. We can show how that is. And he just helped me on a whole new level of detachment on how making people my God and
Mhm.
instances like that. So he's my sponsor about 10 years.
I'm starting to see how you became this bucket of knowledge. It's just all these fantastic sponsors
Oh,
you've
and
had throughout
the
the
people
years.
around and thousands of
Yeah.
meetings and lots of reading. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And how can you not be changed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it's so crazy how even after 13 years, when something that
Mm-hmm.
hard comes about, it just kind of
Yeah.
our brain still goes to that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said it's for you smelled the bourbon immediately. It's
Yeah.
it will be with us for the rest of our
Okay.
lives.
So, so kind of wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. Sorry.
yeah, no, that's cool. So we have the kid, have Gabe. Everything's wonderful. My thing is, I want to show him the world. I want to show him the best life that any child has ever had.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, Emma comes, and I got to stay at home with the kids, so Jennifer could work because she made a lot better money. But this way, we didn't have to worry about childcare.
Yep.
And so I got a real good relationship with my kids. The best part of my recovery is the kids. I mean, just got to
Little
do so many.
blessings.
Oh my gosh, yes. They just when you're homeless and you sit on the side of the road and you see the Toyota with the husband and the wife and the two kids in the back, and you're wondering, how do you get that?
Yes.
Where do they teach that in school?
Yeah.
It's a million miles away. Well, now it's at my address.
Yeah.
And we got to take kids. I mean, just little things. It's flop times with my daughter. It's playing dinosaurs with Gabe when he was little.
Yeah.
Taking him to go see Thomas the Tank Engine.
Ran into you at Kings Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kings Island. Yeah. And
Yeah.
as they got bigger, when they were little, it was like the zoo, the Children's Museum.
Mhm.
When it was older, it was Kings Island.
Mhm.
And just watching them do sports and do life. Raised them in a God
Mhm.
the principles we learn in the program is the principles we do it in the house.
You being able to stay home with them and raise them
Right.
the way you want to raise them,
Yeah.
it's
And,
going to impact them for the rest of their
right.
lives.
So Emma's getting into elementary school or in kindergarten age, and it's when I went to go to McKinley Hall. And my thinking was I'm gonna go get a job, making good money, and all this other stuff. And guy's sponsor, his name's Rob. Rob goes, "You need to do that job." We're having lunch with a guy named Brian,
Mhm.
and Brian's like, "I'm going to go work at McKinley Hall."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You have fun making $8 an hour. Have a good day."
Yeah.
And I go back and tell Jennifer. Jennifer goes out and she hands me an application. She goes, "I think you'll be good at this." She goes, "You should do this." So I went there, and Eric B., who was at the Wednesday meeting,
Yep.
he's the case manager. He's like, "Finally, I knew." He goes, "This is going to be great."
I love Eric.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he is. Yes, he's just losing his mind. And I go there, and the guy who hired me ended up leaving shortly after and going there. But I found it brought me back to all the things that's important.
Mhm.
It's definitely my recovery keeps me strong in my job. And
Yeah.
my job keeps me very familiar why I need to stay in recovery.
Yeah. You help
And
a lot of people.
and
Yeah.
believe it or not, they help me as well.
Oh, I believe it.
And
I do.
believe me, there's a lot of times I've been eating waffles going,
I wish we had time for the
yeah.
story.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Yeah.
just so, and then to kind of, so life's been pretty good, not without, watching mom and dad both die of cancer.
Mm.
That was obviously rough, but
Yeah.
what they got to be with my kids, I got to see my
Yes.
life. My mom got to have the happy tears at our wedding,
Yes.
all the good things and stuff like that. And then this past September, I got to be the keynote speaker at the place I work.
Wow.
They do an annual banquet every year.
Yeah.
And the CEO came up to me and goes, "Would you be our speaker?" And I'd be like, "I'm honored."
You're the best.
And
You're the best speaker.
and so anyway, she and I was just on the way home. I was talking to Jennifer. I was like, all the things that I never thought was ever possible in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So many things have come to fruition, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the future.
You're such a hope shot, man. You really are. I
Thank you.
really appreciate you sitting down with me, man. And I look forward to seeing what the next 10 years, 20 years brings in both of our lives, man.
Yes.
Because you've been in my life now for 8 years. So,
Yeah.
and it's been a pleasure. So
Yeah.
thank you very
You're
much, man.
welcome.
I appreciate you.
Well, thanks for asking.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there, man. I appreciate everybody that chimes in. I hope you guys get something from this like I did.
So do I.
Have a blessed day.
Yes. Have a